What's up? I'm John Job Jr., also known as 3Js. I'm here today with my friend Nancy Alexander from Kiss Your Mother. She makes art soaps. I brought some CBD infused coconut oil along with some rosin chips that I pressed, and she's going to teach me how to infuse this into her art soap.
We're going to do two different types of soaps. First, we're going to do the easiest one, which is called the melt and pour method. And for that base, we're going to use a glycerin that we got at a craft store. We're going to melt it, and then we're going to pour it over some chips from a failed batch of cannabis soap that I am reusing, upusing, I guess you could say, upcycling. And we're going to use those chips and suspend them in the glycerin. Haven't decided yet what color I'm going to make the glycerin. I'm thinking that I might use activated charcoal and make it black because it really makes other colors pop. So, first step is using a potato peeler to get chips from the failed batch of cannabis soap. This is a potato peeler, by the way.
You're a potato peeler.
I'm Miss Potato Head. Smells just like cannabis. It was an expensive fragrance. And then we're going to pour it over our chips and let it sit for probably about an hour. And we should have lathery, bubbly, cannabis smelling with a rosin chip bonus soap from Kiss Your Mother. We're going to cut it up and melt it in the microwave. This is really just where your judgment comes in. I'm eyeballing this. I think half of this will fill these 8 cups in our cannabis leaf molds. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use a glass vessel for the microwave because this does get hot very quickly. And if you use a plastic pitcher, it'll melt too. And it's embarrassing, particularly when you had a camera in your face. God, I hope my microwave is clean. Not so much. I put it in for 2 minutes and I'm gonna stand here and watch it melt. If it bubbles, then it's going to harden again really quickly. So I wanna get it while it's still liquid and then get the activated charcoal for black, the black coloring and the fragrance in there while it's still liquid. Kiss your mother. That's a hot food. Hot food, hot food. Not food. For this fragrance, we're going to use Sweet Orange from one of my favorite places that has really nice essential oils, and it's really important. They're not cheap. And I have to stir quickly because it's already starting to harden. Oh, that smells good. This is my fancy container of activated charcoal. Someone really strong put the lid on and I ran clearly out of patience. Here we go.
I won't use this audio, so I can say it, but that smells so good.
I think it would sound cool to have you say that.
Maybe I'll use it then. I feel like that's working.
It's starting.
Yeah.
This is taking way longer than I'd like, so I'm going to put this into an... Soap making, ironically, is such a dirty business. You're gonna see a puff of black smoke. If you see a puff of white smoke, a new pope has been elected.
That's incredible.
It's still not, it's charcoaly. I want it pitch black.
So we're just gonna add some more.
Yeah. Whoa. I'm blinding you with science. Moment of truth. Now I'm going to pour this over the chips in the cannabis leaf molds. I hope for the best. Who's your mother? And now the bonus biscuits, the rosin chips. You're going to be in the Friend Hall of Fame when you gift these. I think I have enough surface tension to lay these on top. Let's see. Yep. Is that a bubble? It's a bubble. Bubbles are not our friends.
Really?
No.
What will that do?
It'll show up. It'll be in your pocket.
Show up. Got it.
Yeah.
A couple more pieces.
Thank you. And now we take a smoke break while these set. Shut up. Perfect.
See that? Nice one.
Great success.
I was waiting.
Oh, look at that. Black gold, Texas tea.
They came out perfect.
Perfect. They came out perfectly. For this next batch, we're going to do cold processed soap, which is soap from scratch, starting with lye that I have only been able to find online, and I get mine from, where else? Amazon. You have to wear protective eye gear. That's what these are. They don't have any medicine in them. And wear gloves because I have burned off all of my fingerprints more than once, which is great if you want to knock over a bank. But really, we're way too wholesome for that. So just wear gloves and something over your eyes. And we're going to pour, for this recipe, I need 5 ounces of lye and 11.2 ounces of filtered or distilled water. You're not going to want to stay real close because the fumes are pretty noxious.
Got it.
Yeah. It wasn't me, I swear to God. I know we're in my kitchen, but really, it's the lye. It's also handy if you happen to accidentally leave a dead body in your bathtub and you need to dispose of it. This will eat it right up and you can hose it all down with a ShamWow.
She's living in the year 3000, folks.
Okay, and I'm going to swirl this around with a clean spatula. And this is when it starts to give off heat. I'm going to take it off the scale. It starts to heat up. The water and lime mixture will get to about 160 degrees. And to work with it with emulsified oil, which we're going to do next, I need it to be about 130 degrees. So I'm going to take a candy thermometer, put it in my pitcher, and put it in the freezer. And it's going to take a good 30 minutes for it to reach the right temperature to work with. This is coconut oil and CBD, heavy on the CBD. I'm measuring out 11 ounces of palm oil. Palm oil is considered a hard oil because it's one of those that when it cools, and it was in the garage, it becomes a solid. And that was a solid error because I've got almost an ounce too much. So I've got to trim this. That's it. Now I'm going to liquefy it in the microwave. So while our lye is cooling in the freezer, because it gets up to about 160 degrees, as I say, we're getting our oils together. And the final one I'm using today for this recipe, I usually use olive oil, which is a very soft oil. In fact, if you use nothing but, you probably will have a bar that will never get hard. And maybe it's been married too long. But nonetheless, this is a soft oil, not quite as soft as olive oil, but I need 11 ounces of it. I take that back, I need 15. So, this is 16 ounces. It was exactly 15. That's exactly what we need. And it goes in with the palm oil and the CBD and coconut oil mixture. Okay, I'm going to mix them up a little bit just to get them in love and acquainted. I think right now we're going to put our fragrance in our oil. Use essential oil or a really good fragrance oil, because if you use something that's really cheap, man-made, lots of added ingredients, your batter's going to freeze right up. Had it happen to me just days ago. And it was heartbreaking because it was on its way to be a state fair winner.
You want to tell us about the fragrance? 60s happy.
It smells way better than Woodstock. Mm. Oh, that's still too hot. Feel that.
Oh, wow. What do you think? It's too hot?
The lye has cooled. This is a lye and water mixture. I'm going to pour it over the stem of my mixer to slow it down a little bit. But you'll see that the oil will start to change color pretty quickly. It'll start to lighten up. And then when we start to mix it, it begins what's called soapification. That's when lye and emulsified oils come together to make soap molecules. You may want to be over here for this. Spin it around a little bit. What we're looking for is what's called trace. You want this to be almost like a pudding texture, a little bit less than that, a little more runny, to stay on the bell of the mixer like this. We're just about there. I want this to be a little bit thicker because it's going to be sneaky to use 3 different colors in a mold. I don't ordinarily use molds. I think they're cheesy. But these cannabis flower molds were just too great to resist.
Now, what if you don't have one of these?
I have to.
To do soap, you need one of these, folks.
Yeah, you've got to have a hand mixer. No other kind will spin it fast enough. They're less than 20 bucks.
Okay, that's good to know.
Okay. You see that?
Yeah.
See how thick that is?
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming soap.
Oh, wow. That fast.
Well, it's going to heat up. I'm going to divide this now into 3 different pitchers for 3 different colors. And then I'm going to add the mica to color it.
Oh, wow. That's why you said a 4th pitcher, because you're going to color these,
Yes.
mix them into a 4th, and pour them into the molds.
Yes. Don't get too thick, you guys. Not yet. You're not permitted to just yet.
Gotcha. We put the whole thing in there.
Well, these will lighten. I've worked with these micas before, and these colors, if you don't use a lot, they'll lighten up. So I use the whole thing in not even a full pitcher because I want that intensity. These colors were inspired by the Rasta Ooze Cranium. I overblended, so my trace is thick. This is going to be an interesting challenge to pour into one more pitcher. We're just going to find out together. Oh, I've got to get my... So, definitely overblended. This is a challenge, but I'm determined to somehow make this work.
Would warming it up make
No.
it? Okay.
No, this is not at all like glycerin.
Got it. Oh, it's going to be perfect.
I'm going to stir this up a little bit and then somehow transfer this glop into the molds. I still think we're going to have some kind of a victory. Pouring may be a generous term.
Mm-hmm. You're going to like spoon it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And swirl it around in there again. It looked like I just did a heart transplant onto a stoner.
Look at that one. Green Machine. Tell me about the mess you made.
Again, making soap, ironically, is so effing messy. So now we're going to put our soaps in the mold, silicone molds, into the oven to start what's called the gel phase, and that will prevent ash from forming on the soap as it cures because it turns white and it's ugly. So we're going to prevent that from happening. I'm going to let it heat up to 190, and then I'll put the soaps in, turn the oven off, and leave them in there for about an hour. This is isopropyl alcohol, and I am going to spray the tops. It helps prevent bubbles, and because this is so thick, I'm running the risk of my designs having holes in them, and we just don't want that to happen. So if you care for me at all, pray for no bubbles. So they're gonna stay in there for about an hour. I'm gonna shut the oven off right now and start the gel phase. These are gonna need planing when they're done, and I've got a machine, it's almost like a V-slicer, and it's just for soap, and they're real cheap, and they make all the difference in the world in making your final product look really nice and finished. Believe it or not, this, what looks like baby poo right now, has a really good chance of turning out beautifully.
Oh my gosh, they smell so good.
So it's been about an hour. Gonna take them out of the oven where they have been in 190-degree temperature. Descending actually, because I turned the oven off right when it hit 190. Did I get my really cute shoes in?
Where'd you get those?
Online, $6.
Wish.com?
Yeah. You know that cute stuff that goes by in your Instagram feed that's really cheap? You ever wonder who buys all that crap? I do.
All right, once again, I'm 3Js. This is Nancy. We've spent the day making soaps. This is a soap that she taught me to make today using scraps of an old soap along with, what was
the melt and pour method. There are pieces of cold processed soap in there suspended in glycerin that has been colored with activated charcoal.
So there's that, and then what we're waiting on right now is we made some bars of soap inspired by my Rasta Cranium Ooze. She was so kind to help me make a CBD infused soap today, which is the video you just watched. I've got to do the reveal separate from this because the soap obviously has to cure. So
that's the hard part, is leaving it alone.
Right, because I'm super stoked to see it. I've got one tray I'm taking home. She's got a tray that she's gonna have here. We're each gonna kind of do our own photos as soon as we get sometime within, like, right now you might be watching me do the reveal as I'm opening. So I'm gonna be careful when I do this. Let's see. It's the first one. Wow, there we go. Number one. Looking good. I gotta do whatever she calls it when you scrape the bottom, but number two. Oops. That's a good one. Let's see. That's beautiful, right? One more. Gotta get it out. Got one more. Look at that. I think we did pretty good. The goal was to make CBD infused soap, and we made CBD infused soap. Was it perfect? Not quite. Do we have some kinks to work out? Sure. But am I happy with the product? Absolutely. We crushed it. So now we're gonna use whatever she calls that, whatever she calls this, and scrape the bottoms. I'm thinking that's what she does. She just does that. Get rid of that. Turn this and just scrape it like cheese. Give it a really nice, smooth finish like that. Look at that. See the bottom? Watch. Scrape. Scrape it, 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 right? Scrape it more, scrape it more, scrape it more, scrape it more, scrape it more. Look at that. Smooth like your hiney. Smooth, just like your hiney. Obviously, I need to learn how to hold it. I'm not a pro yet. But this is how it's coming out, and they're looking pretty good. We got a couple more to smooth out on the bottom. See what happens. We got a pile of soap right there. Scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. Scrape it, 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 scrape it. Soap is crazy. Scrape it, scrape it. It feels so cool. It's soap. It's lye.
Smells pretty good.
It does. You smell pretty good.
Huh?
I appreciate her for helping me today. Nancy Alexander TV on YouTube. Is that
It's Nancy Alexander Nancy TV. There's another Nancy Alexander. She's 1,000 years old and makes wreaths. That's not me.
That's not her.
Yeah.
So help us share Nancy's channel. I'm gonna put this on my channel too. We'll get some love there, and let us know what you'd like us to infuse with CBD or THC, and maybe we'll bring another video to you shortly.
It's good, clean fun.
Yeah.
Making soap.
It's nothing fancy. Soaps with Nancy. No big deal.
Kiss your mother.
Thank you for watching. Cool. Kiss your mom. That's fun.